welcome to Thursdays with Annette at 2 o'clock. I'm so glad you've joined me today because it's going to be a fabulous show. I'm going to be talking about swapping to healthier options. And this is something that I did to help myself lose 35 kilos in 20 months. But those habits that I created and those swaps that I did have helped me stay in my healthy weight range now for 24 years. So I want to provide this information for you today. So grab a pen and paper. We've got lots to get through the show. But first of all, let's talk about the comments from last week. We had this in the kitchen with the chicken stroganoff, and I think there was lots of houses cooking chicken stroganoff last week. So by your feedback, everyone was going to get cooking, and I love that because I love to inspire you to get in the kitchen and cook healthy. And with my recipes, you know how easy it is, but then if the family loves it too, then everyone's happy. Some of the comments that we had was Lynn Bennett wrote, "Thank you, really loved the show today. Thank you very much. And once again, just got a couple of little tips I can use." And that's what I want you to get those little diamonds off me each week here to help you with your journey. Donna Nielsen wrote, "This was my favourite dinner out of your cookbooks." Wow. That's a big statement. This is your #1 favourite, Donna, so thank you for telling me that. Jennifer Lee said the chicken stroganoff was one of her all-time favourite recipes and was going to this week try it with beef. So I hope it tasted good for you. I'll be interested to see how you went with that, Jennifer. Now, a few of you asked the question about dairy-free option, and I really wished I'd thought of it while I was filming last week, because there is an option for you. For example, instead of the evaporated light milk, you can replace it with lactose-free milk that's at 4%. Now, if you need to go completely dairy-free, then you can swap it with almond milk, the low-fat almond milk. The only thing is with the milks, just be aware they're not as creamy as the evaporated milk, but they're still going to work, and you don't want to overboil it because the milk can sometimes separate if it's boiled too much. But it certainly will work well for you. And if you have to have lactose-free or dairy-free, then you will be happy with that option. Now, Sue Sherman wrote how much she is loving the show, and I really appreciate those positive vibes from you, Sue, and thank you for watching. And thank you guys for watching today. I'm in the kitchen again, but it's behind me this time, and I'm at the front, and I've got lots of goodies to share with you. So before we get into it, I want to announce the winners from last week's show. They each won a signed copy of Book 2 that's in the mail today, and those winners are Jan Carroll, Debbie Masters and Fiona Kells. Winner, winner! So that's fantastic. So now let's get into it. I've got lots and lots to get through in our time today, and I've got my little cheat sheet here because I don't want to miss anything important. So the one thing that I want you to do is to realise that you don't have to miss out. You just swap it out. So if you love a certain thing, then maybe you need to find a good solution that you can use instead of it. So I've got 20 here today. I thought that'll probably be enough for today's show. So I've got lots to get through. But the thing is with food, it's an emotional thing for a lot of us. And they say that if you're looking for creamy things like chocolate and ice cream and that, you often might be feeling sad or lonely or depressed. And when you're looking for crunchy things like chips and biscuits, that you're feeling maybe angry or cranky. And so you want to bite into something. So I think there's a bit of something in that for sure. I know I like a bit of crunch, so maybe I'm a bit more angry than I think. No, I don't know about that. But look, we're going to swap some things over today, and I think you might find them valuable to know. So one of the things that I started to swap straight up was Jats. Now, I have to admit it, I was the Jats girl. I mean, I also was 100 kilos, so it wasn't a great thing. But what I did is swap the Jats over to the rice crackers. And I used to eat these just on their own. They didn't have to have a topping on them or a dip even. I used to just love, I think I really do like crunchy things. But the difference is quite a lot. So if you look at, say, 10 Jats, they're 7.7 grams of fat. And for 10 of these, the rice crackers, it's 0.5. So you can see straight up, I saved a lot. And especially when I was working on 30 grams of fat a day, you know, you certainly want to be careful where you spend your fats on. And I've really never gone back to Jats. I've just stayed with the rice crackers. And that's the thing, that when you start these new habits and switches, then keep up with it. Don't go back to the old ones when you get to your ideal weight range. Now, the next one I've got is flavoured milk. Now, this is something that I used to guzzle down quite a lot and thought of it as a drink. But actually, milk is a food. So it can't be classed as a drink, you know what I mean? Because it's got so much nutrients in it. And so when you think of this, think of it as a meal, for example. And that's where I compare it, say, to my the iced coffee shakes that I have. That is a meal. If you add 75 grams of fruit to a serve, then it is a meal. So, you can get something out of it and you'll be sustained for hours. If I drank this, I don't know if it would get me through from breakfast till lunchtime, but the difference is, let's check the breakdown. So it has 18.5 grams of fat. Yeah, that's crazy. And remember, it's a drink. It's not a food. It's a food, not a drink, I'm sorry. And my shake is 1.9 gram of fat. So you can see there's quite a difference with that. And I don't particularly like the fact it's got 45 grams of sugar in it either. But it's something you just have with something. And I think the old days, a lot of the guys, they'll go grab this and have a pie with it. And that's their morning tea. So, it's really about making some healthy changes that you can sustain and still feel like you're having something. So, otherwise you could get the skim milk variety, which, I think it's like 9 grams of fat for a cup of normal full fat milk, whereas skim milk is 0.2. So it's about looking at those fat products that you've been having that have been causing a problem. Cheese platter. Do we go there? Oh my gosh. I used to make the best cheese platter, and when I think about how much I ate on that cheese platter, it was probably my fat count for the whole week. No wonder I'd go to bed and feel a little bit squirmish. So that went, and I just decided that no, I'm just going to have the bigger Super Slims or those low-fat cheese. But what I did for starters when people come over is I would make my Mexican dip. And I use them all the time because they're fantastic. If you haven't had my roasted pumpkin cashew dip in book 7, you have not lived. It is phenomenal. But they're way better for you than having lots and lots of cheese. So I hope that's a good swap for you. See, I'm trying to give you a good alternate from a swap that maybe is not ideal. Let's talk corn chips. Once again, I did love my crunch. And so with corn chips, how many of us, and let's put our hand up and be honest, how many of us have opened a bag and eaten it all? Yes, let's be honest. I was so shocked because I haven't bought one of these for a long time, and I realised 175 grams, when did they drop down from that? They used to be 250, but I don't think I'm paying any less for it. I'm sure it's been a while because I haven't bought them, because if I buy something like this and have it in the pantry, it talks to me. Hello, Annette, come and get me. So I just don't bring it in. Unless it's a party or something like that where I know it's going to get used. Look, be honest with yourself and know that things don't always work if you have them sitting around in the pantry. Now, the fat count, let's just do 50 grams. And I think that when you look at that, it's 12.2 grams of fat for 50 grams. But when you look at mine, it's 1 point something. And that's what I did. I changed to Annette's corn chips in book 1. They are so moorish and crunchy. That's 50 grams there. And so that's like a feast. And so you could use these for dips, or what I used to do when I was losing my weight, I would grab a handful of them and have them as a munchy thing at 3 or 4 o'clock. And I really, really enjoyed them. But they're much lower in sodium, way lower in fat and calories. So that's a great swap over, I reckon. Now we've got, let's go sour cream. That was something, we used to love tacos and nachos and jacket potatoes, and it's crazy what's in sour cream. So for example, I wrote it up on the board here, wasn't it? So it's 36 grams of fat for 100 grams of sour cream. But I made up my version. Here it is. That looks like sour cream, doesn't it? And how you do this, it's in book 3, and it has a 1.1 gram of fat for the same amount. That's ridiculous. That's so fantastic. And so I have this with my nachos and tacos all the time, and I feel like it's like sour cream. And you make it with lemon, just a bit of lemon juice in with blended up cottage cheese, low-fat cottage cheese. And then for sweet cream, you can also replace it by beating it up with a little bit of vanilla essence and a little bit of sugar. Not a lot, a little bit of sugar, just to get it a bit sweet. But cream is something that we don't want to eat because it's just sucks onto the thighs as you eat it. It's just a no-go zone. And so there was something that I gave up very early on. To be able to lose 35 kilos, I had to make sure I was serious about what I was doing, and those were the choices that I made, because in the end, I'm so glad that I did, because look what it led to. Me being in my healthy weight range, I'm 62 years of age, and I'm feeling life is fabulous. But I reckon if I had kept my weight on, I just don't know how healthy I would be now. So these choices, they might be little things that you do, you know, like changing this little bit to that, but they can make a big difference to your health and well-being, especially your weight loss. Ice cream was another thing. Like, I'm really cleansing here today, aren't I? I'm just giving you all my bad things that I used to do, and I'm sure you don't do any of this, but if you had done it, ice cream was a go. I had to say, go away, get out of my doorstep. I used to buy the big 4-litre tubs in Franklin's, and we would go through one of them a week. Yeah, that was crazy. And so what I did to change it was I went to Peter's Light and Creamy ice cream, which is very nice and really creamy. It's a little bit sweet, but it's still very nice. Or recently I've got into the Skinny Cow, and they're fantastic. They're really low in fat and calories. So I haven't gone back to full fat. You know, Blue Ribbon, you don't mean anything to me now. You are dead to me. And the other thing that I did also with cream, can I just go back to that for a minute? With the sweet cream, I often use fruit or vanilla yogurt as another thing. And for sour cream, you know, instead of that, sometimes I use the natural yogurt, the, you know, no-fat yogurt. So I just wanted to go back to there. Sorry, I just noticed I'd missed that. Now, let's go back to the crunchy things. Salted peanuts. Don't open a bag near me or I will not be able to help myself. And they're pretty rubbish nuts. They're the least, I think, healthy. And as well, the massive amount of salt you consume is crazy. So what I did, I changed it over to raw almonds. And to this day, I love raw almonds. And they're an alkalizing nut. So they're really, really good for you and so much better. It's one of those things that you still have to look at how much you have. You know, so you don't just take the bag of almonds onto the couch with you. You know, you do serving sizes. Then another thing that I looked at was fruit juice. Like, we used to drink a lot of juice because, you know, I thought it was good for the kids. Well, I stopped that straight up when I realised that it would take maybe 4 oranges to squeeze a glass of orange juice for me, but try and eat 4 oranges and you just couldn't do it. And why is that? Give me the word. Fibre. And that's what I'm obsessed with, fibre. And that's why, you know, when I made my shakes, that I had the highest fibre of any shake in Australia, because we really need about like 30 grams of fibre a day if we can. And in the most diets, you're lucky if you get into double figures. So my way is to try and give you solutions to get your fibre up, because if you're having fibre, not only are your bowels happy, but you'll feel more sustained and not so hungry. And that was pretty well what motivated me, because I don't like being hungry. So definitely get your beautiful fruits into you opposed to juicing it, and you'll feel a lot better for it. Soft drink was another thing that I had to say goodbye to. I used to burp a lot as well and gas up a lot, so my body was telling me, I just wasn't listening, and I went to just water. You know, I've got a purifier on the tap, you know, in our sink, and you know, we just fill the bottles up and have it in the fridge whenever we want it. But the other thing that I gave up as well was a lot of tea and coffee because of the caffeine and the tannin, and I went to herbal teas. And I just love them. Peppermint, you know, there's chamomile, the lemongrass. There's so many beautiful herbal teas around, and it's so much better for you. And if you're struggling with getting 8 glasses of water in a day at this cold time of the year, then you can count your herbal tea as water. So that's very good. My gosh, we're getting through it. I've just given you 10 tips. Have you been writing them down? I've got another 10 to go. Stop it. I know. This is fabulous. Let's go to hot chocolate. Now, I've got a girlfriend, my beautiful friend Jan. Hi, Jan. Loves hot chocolate. And so what I told her to do was a couple of things. I've never been a hot chocolate gal, but I know a lot of you love it. So what I did is I changed over to, say, the Jarrah. Now that's about 1 gram of fat and about 194 calories for a cup. So, you know, that's good. But, you know, not long ago I started having this because, you know, it is getting colder, and I'm having my Wicked chocolate shake, and I'm using the hot water with it and whisking it just with a little whisk, and it's fantastic. Not only though is it going to give you a lovely chocolate flavour, it's sweet, but it fills you up, and that's what I like, because you don't want to be hungry. So these are great, you know, alternatives for you. On the subject of chocolate, let's just go a little bit further. You know, if you do like a block of chocolate or a chocolate bar, do you know what I did? I gave chocolate away as much as I could, you know, because I mean, you know, you're human, you're going to have it every now and then. But what I replaced it with was I baked chocolate things. So my Wicked chocolate cake, my rich chocolate squares, that's my go-to if I'm feeling, you know, that time of the month or whatever, I need some chocolate, people. Then my rich chocolate squares, you cannot beat it. And I'm excited because I'm going to be taking you back into this part of the kitchen next week, and I'm going to be cooking the rich chocolate squares from book 4 for you. So I think don't forget to tune in next week, because guilt-free chocolate, gotta have it. And this is better than eating dense chocolate, you know, so have it that way. And it's much better for you than having that block of chocolate. Now, some quick ones for you. Mayo and dressings, of course, you know, I swapped them all out and went to the low fat or no fat, because that really makes a difference. Same with the dairy products. I went to the low fat cheese, the low fat yogurts, you know, skim milk, all those things. Remember, all these add up. And okay, let's go to the movies. Who doesn't love going to the movies, and who doesn't love the popcorn? So what I did was I know, excuse me, do I have a halo over my head now? Honestly, this is all the things that I did, and when I think about it, I did this because I love myself enough to go, you know what, let's work out some alternatives for you, because if you keep eating those other things, you're never going to get your weight off, and you'll just spend a life of unhappiness of being overweight. So these are little things that I didn't think was a sacrifice to change over to the microwave popcorn, but my gosh, it makes a difference on the fat count and the calories. And I used to, you know, make it for the kids as well. So hello, very cheap on the budget, and we brown bagged it. Yeah, so we would pop it, and we'd have our little bag of popcorn in there, we'd have our names on them, and I felt that I still was having a treat. So just be aware of that. For example, let's look at the fat count of popcorn. Now, in the movies, for, let's say, 50 grams, which is half of one of those microwave things, which I normally divide into 3, so I'm being generous here, it's about 14 grams of fat for the popcorn at the movies. But if you do it my way, it's only 5.6. See, like, little things, they change, it's fabulous. Chips versus pretzels, still getting the crunch but without the fat, much lower in fat. Lollies, oh my gosh, I loved a lolly. So what I did is I changed it to dried fruits. Like, you know, you can have 40 grams of dried fruit is equal to 1 piece of fruit. And I love the dried peaches because they're quite big compared to the little apricots. But I also love my fruit balls in book 7. My husband made these for me the other day. Isn't he gorgeous? I love you, Billy. And these are just awesome. They're like a lolly, but they're all just dried fruit. And the other thing that I like to do if I'm in the kitchen and I'm feeling a bit peckish, I mean, just throw a couple of these in your mouth as you go. They are really, really lovely, the cherry tomatoes. And it's clever. It's being clever about things. Cappuccino versus skinny cappuccino, obviously. Once again, you can do the iced coffee shake instead of having a cappuccino. White bread versus multigrain. Cereals, like, you know, go for the high fibre. You want at least 3 grams of fibre per serve. And, you know, if you're putting sugar on your cereal, stop. Get your taste buds changed so you're not looking for a lot of sugar. And then add instead some dried fruit, maybe some sultanas or cranberries, or fresh fruit, like a bit of banana or strawberries on it. So, there we go. Another week is done. My gosh, it just goes so quickly, our time together, doesn't it? thank you for being here with me each week, and please spread the word. We want more people coming in and learning how to be healthy and fabulous, because, you know, this is what we're about. Now, what would be the prize that we've got for you this week? Let me think. I know. Let's do it. Who wants to win a box of shakes? They're worth $39. You get 14 in a box, and 3 lucky winners are going to get their choice, whether they want the creamy vanilla, the iced coffee, or the wicked chocolate. It's coming your way. And how do you win it? You press like. No, you don't press like. Yeah, you tick like. And then you share. And now we've got something new. Hold on one moment. In the comments, I want you to write #SimplyTooGood. Now, if you do that, then you will be possibly picked to win a box of the shakes. It's so exciting to give presents out and prizes every week. I love it. I mean, who knew healthy could be so deliciously fabulous? And I mean, when you're losing weight, you know, you can have it all if you just be smart, like we did today. I hope you enjoyed this week's show. You know, we're going to do the rich chocolate squares next week, so you make sure you're here next Thursday. It'll be fabulous. Go to www.simplytoogood.com.au for more recipes and tips, and connect with me. Want to see you there, and love your comments. Let us know what you think of the show. Did it help you? Anyway, it's all over for this week. Thank you for being with me this week, and I hope you got some good tips, and I'll catch you in the kitchen next week. Bye now.